nerds, welcome to JerAwards. Today we're going to do our Legacy Season 4 recap. If you're new around here, at the end of each of the seasons, we do kind of, sort of, a bit of a recap. It's not necessarily like a full in-depth analysis of the show. It's just kind of winging it off the top of my head, some things that I remember, and then going into the JerAwards, where we talk about our favorite show, our favorite episode, funniest moment, favorite moment, etc. And then all of those winners from all 4 seasons will be compiled into a series, JerAwards, where we'll pick our favorite moment from the entire show from all 68 episodes. So that's what we're going to start doing here today with this. And then focus. We'll have our trailer reactions, bloopers, character rankings, etc. And then we'll get wrapped up here over the course of the next few days. So if there is a day or two without any sort of video, my apologies for that. If you want to watch all 68 episodes of Legacies, uncut, unedited, it's over there on Patreon, as well as all 171 episodes of the Vampire Diaries and all 92 episodes of the originals. So I'm going to pull this up here. My vision is just cooked. We do have, it is daylight, again, as you can tell by my pasty face. So welcome that back. But we'll start with kind of just recapping season 4 of Legacies. So let's just get started with the recap. Season 4 begins right where season 3 ended, because technically it is the end of season 3. Like, Netflix is the only place that had season 3 running for 20 episodes. Everywhere else has the only 20 episode season is season 4. So up until, like, what was it, episode 4? Episode 4 of season 4 is technically the season 3 finale, the way they had it planned, but whatever the hell was going on over there at the CW, it is what it is. So they dive into Malivore / Landon's mind. They try to take the monster to put inside of Ryan Clark. He turns into a monster. He beats up Ethan. They defeat the monster, and then Ryan Clark goes, he's gone. They let him go. They wanted to put Malivore into him. I think he makes one other appearance outside of that, but he lives a happy, normal life with his newfound girlfriend, right? That's what he goes and does. After that failed, Malivore then lures Ethan in after he was beat up to help set him free, or to try to help set him free because he once had the, ability or whatever over him, and wants to put himself into Ethan. Hope shortly after learns that Landon was still alive within Malivore. She knows what she has to do. She activates her tribrid side, and the show actually gets fucking good. Freya helps kill her, like put her into like a coma or a heart attack, and then Hope arises at the tribrid. She gets abducted by Caleb, then she arises at the tribrid. She wakes up, and first thing she does is go after Malivore to kill him, but Malivore allows Landon to take over, and then Landon has to convince her to kill him. Once she does, immediately her humanity is just off. It's just done. Gone. Off. Finito. What does she do? She goes and attacks Rick to make a statement to the school, which pisses off Lizzie. Josie the whole time is also a little sad and fed up, and she's with Finch, and it's very cute, but she leaves the show due to on-set issues or whatever it was. So with Hope with her humanity off, Rebecca tries to come help her. That shit don't work. Rick's body he's just accepted death. We see Landon, not Malivore. We see Ted, not the necromancer, and we see Rick all in limbo together trying to figure out a way to get back, but they have to collect coins and make up for their past sins. And it eventually all leads to people getting to go back home or go to peace, and leads to Landon becoming the ferryman. Like, that's his whole arc throughout all this, with a couple visits to Hope. But Hope has her humanity off, and she is ripping and roaring and killing. She runs into Aurora de Martel, who woke up from that rug she was under for all those seasons in the originals. And they got beef. They do a body swap. She fakes her humanity being on. Lizzie doesn't kill her. Ends up swapping back to her original body. She's like, hey, guess what? Humanity's still off. Bing, bam, boop. Kills Lizzie. But Lizzie drank some of Hope's blood, so she arose as a heretic, a witch-vampire combination, and then was the sire to Hope, so she should do everything that she said until she broke free, which was pretty shortly after. Throughout all this, as good as the show really was, they do an introduction of a character named Ben, who ends up being Prometheus. So they introduce gods. And that's when it kind of goes from like going towards like really, really, really peak, like competing with some of the seasons of the Vampire Diaries or the originals, to just being the best season of Legacies and nothing else. So they introduced the gods, and it was pretty good for what it was. We get a lot of memorable characters. Ben flip-flops. But essentially the whole thing is, once Hope gets her humanity back, she, after being pretty much fighting herself inside her own brain. They go on to fight the gods. There's some casualties. Landon, being the ferryman, brings everybody back in endgame style. They're able to defeat Ken, not Ryan Gosling, but the King of Gods. And once they do that, we have a wrap up of all of our relationships, all of our beautiful couples, people going on. We get ashes spread for Klaus Michelson. They said, fuck Elijah. And we get a very heartwarming message from Klaus. We get Caroline coming back and taking over as headmaster as Rick goes to write stories about the school. Josie never returns. Finch becomes the alpha, the leader of the pack. Jed runs away with Ben. Cleo and Caleb are destined to have issues, but decide to work it out anyways and go forward and be lovers and friends. MG and Lizzie finally become a unit, become a couple, and then Hope can never have Landon ever again because he's trapped as the ferryman, and that is just where it goes. Hope welcomes everybody into the school and says, welcome home, and that's a wrap on Legacies. And there could be a much longer winded version of that, going through each of the story beats and how humanity came on, but again, that's not what the purpose of this video is. It's just a recap from the top of the mind with some things that I want to talk about, and then the award ceremony. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions coming off of it because they leave the door open-ended, right? Like the door is open 3 inches, and then in the words of Hopper. So they feel like they could come back to this. The whole heretic thing kind of wipes and nullifies the existence of having to do the merge, but they never really mention that the rest of the time afterwards. Like, they don't talk about the merge ever again. They don't talk about the fact they don't have to do it. And that is something that I think was, they probably planned on doing time jumps and getting to a point where there was a merge, maybe. Or putting them in a situation where they were very happy and left the audience knowing that a merge was coming. Or if they ever want to do something with just those characters, they could have. I mean, for Hope is just a tribrid, and she's still at the school. She's still, what, 17, 18, 19 years old? So she's still a kid. She's got a whole life ahead of her. We don't know where her arc takes her. We don't know where Stephanie Salvatore is and her coming into the school. We don't get really anything else outside of, for Damon and Elena, outside of visiting the house and staying with them, but we don't actually get to see them, which is good because it would kind of damage the ending of the Vampire Diaries. So I like that kind of being more mysterious. We don't get any mentions really, or we get a few mentions of Elijah. Like, they go and collect all the ashes for Klaus, but nobody did so for Elijah, and that's a little fucked up. We don't ever touch on the fact that Wade's a fairy ever again. That never comes back into fruition, never comes back into play. There's a lot of side characters that were introduced that never reappear. I know COVID probably played a big factor, but there's a lot of moments that just don't have a payoff. There's a lot of heavily paid off moments. I don't want to go too big into the whole scope of the entire series, but Hope being a tribrid is the savior of this show, because season 2 wasn't bad. Season 3 was fucking rough. And then season 4 really just kicks it up a notch and gives us something that we were familiar to in these universes. So I really like this season. I really love the tribrid. I love how one character can make such an impact and such a difference. And all of our side characters are very beautiful as well. I think they really made up for the 2 lacking seasons of 2 and 3. And they deliver with a banger in season 4. And it's unfortunate that we don't get to see proper closure, because you can tell by the way it ended, it wasn't proper closure. Episodes 18 and 19 had really rapid cuts of like, hey, this is a beautiful moment, but we got to get to the next. Nothing had a chance to really breathe, and it's not their fault. It's just not their fault. But that's the sad part. But that is season 4. I don't really have anything I would change. I would have Hope be the tribrid for much longer, and I would have it take something to the extreme bit of measures as pretty much a Klaus to bring her humanity back. Her family did a great job. It took Marcel, Cole, Freya, Rebecca. It took them all. I wish we could have had the whole cast there. I wish we could have had some sort of psychological or spiritual visits from Haley. It's me, Jackson. From Haley, from Elijah, from Klaus, even Finn, if you want it, to have a full thing to help kickstart our humanity. Something so epic. It's unfortunate we couldn't get it, whether it was time constraints or not even an idea, or scheduling or lack of interest. I think it would have been a very beautiful moment, and it didn't happen, and that's okay. but it would have been cool to see. So we can transition from that into the JerAwards for season 4. Remember, the winner of each of these categories gets put with the winners of the other seasons, and those people come together for these series awards. So the only question I have is, are you ready? I got to burp. I'll be right back. Kick off the JerAwards for season 4 of Legacies with favorite episode. This is a doozy, man. This is tough. Out of 20 episodes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 11 episodes. We have almost half of the episode, over half the episodes. Your nominees: episode 1, I'll Never Give Up Hope. Episode 4, See You on the Other Side. 5, I Thought You'd Be Happier to See Me. 6, You're a Long Way from Home. 9, I Can't Be the One Who Stops You, or the one to stop you. 12, Not All Those Who Wander Are Lost. 13, Was This the Monster You Saw? 15, Everything That Can Be Lost May Also Be Found. 16, I Wouldn't Be Standing Here If It Weren't for You. 19, This Can Only End in Blood. And 20, Just Don't Be a Stranger. Okay? Episodes 4, 5, and 6 could all easily win this category. Easily win this. And the reason they won't is because there's an episode I liked a little more. But 4, 5, and 6 is the turning point of this season, or if you just want to say season 3, episode 20, and then episodes 1 and 2, whatever. 4, 5, and 6 are the turning point of this show because it really kickstarts the show to be what I think it had the potential to be and what it was meant to be, and that is about the Tribrid. And as fucked up as it all is us wanting Hope to be the Tribrid, not to become a version of Klaus Michelson, but to be a wholesome version. But as soon as her humanity's off, it made it even more interesting. And that's what we wanted this entire time. That's what we wanted to see. That's how we wanted to feel. And we got it. And it was beautiful. But my favorite episode is actually episode 15, Everything That Can Be Lost May Also Be Found. And that is just the return of the originals. It is a beautiful moment, getting the humanity back on, Hope fighting and kicking her own ass. All of it there is just, it's just good TV for those who watched and adored the previous shows. So episode 15 is your winner for favorite episode. For favorite scene from season 4, episode 2, Ryan Clark using fake sympathy/empathy on Malivore. From 4-3, Hope, Lizzie, and Joe growing the tree. From 4-4, Rick knowing Caleb wouldn't attack him and surrendering. Also from 4-4, Hope showing her vampire eyes for the first time. From 4-5, Rebecca. From 4-6, Hope killing everyone. From 4-7, Jed telling Caleb to forgive himself. From 4-9, Hope's humanity fake out. From 4-9, Cleo calling Caleb her boyfriend. From 4-12, Lizzie breaking the sire bond. From 4-15, Hope kicking her own ass. From 4-19, Hope's super kick. And from 4-20, Caroline's return. Hope showing her vampire eyes. As soon as it happened, I was like, nothing's really going to top that. But her humanity fake out was cold-blooded. Cold-blooded and easily the best scene, if not the best scene of the entire show. That shit was immaculate. Kudos. Most heartbreaking scene from season 4, episode 3, Dorian showing Rick his prepping plans for the merge. From 4-4, Hope killing Landon. From 4-5, Hope attacking Rick. 4-6, Hope dissing Pedro. From 4-9, MG kicking Ethan out. From 4-9, Joe leaving and Finch staying behind. From 4-13, Jed's backstory. And from 4-20, Klaus's final message. Honestly, as shocking as this is with all the nominees, Jed's backstory is fucking rough. Had a beautiful payoff. And some of you may heavily disagree with that, but remember, these are my winners. You can always let me know your own. But Jed's backstory, I think, got me the most. Funniest scene from 4-2, Stop Manifesting. Jed to Ryan. From 4-4, Lizzie chugging a beer when Ethan says he's going to be attending the school. From 4-11, MG pretending to be Rick. From 4-12, Rick trapping the necromancer. You know, the big, like he changed the whole gimmick and everything. But the winner actually is the last one here, and it's 4-20. I rewatched it just as I was trying to select my winners, and it was MG talking to Rick and Lizzie and saying, Milton is a name used by bullies or loved ones. And Basically saying, don't call me Milton. But the way he said it was funny. It's not the funniest thing that happened. There were a couple of things that really like popped me and made me giggle. But that was my favorite just from season 4. Favorite kiss is tough, man. This is such a tough one. Because there were some good ones, man. From 4-4, Hope and Landon. From 4-4, Joe and Finch. From 4-5, Caleb and Cleo. From 4-9, Caleb and Cleo. 4-13, Jed and Ben. 4-19, the MG and Lizzie. 4-20, I think Hope and Landon had another one, but they had another smooch at some point where they kind of said farewell to each other after he came back. That was a good one. It was tough for me to pick. Jed and Ben, I think, was going to win until Ben kind of flip-flopped. He's fine now, but that first one was very special. MG and Lizzie's kept getting interrupted, and it never had the epic payoff. Like, when it comes to kisses, the biggest payoff for me was Caroline and Stefan. Like, I was waiting on it and waiting on it and waiting on it. And I was doing the same thing with MG and Lizzie. But then it didn't really have the same feel as the one previously mentioned. Joe and Finch could have won again, but Joe leaves. Hope and Landon, we've been there before, even though it was emotional. So the first one, I think this is their first one, but regardless, the one that I selected was from 4-5, and that was Caleb and Cleo. Because I love them. Favorite kill. Hope killing the Super Squad in 4-6. Hope killing Lizzie in 4-9. Hope killing the carnival person, in 4-11. Cleo killing the clown in 4-13. Hope and Cleo killing Ken in 4-19 via super kick stab wombo combo. My favorite kill was Hope killing the entire Super Squad. You're a long way from home. Snap, dead, steak, spike. All of it. Badass. Unfortunately, it wasn't real, but it was badass. There is no favorite quote, so we'll start with favorite friendship. Your nominees: Caleb and MG, MG and Ethan, Rick, Landon, and Ted, Hope and Rick, Hope and Lizzie, Hope and Ryan Clark, Landon and Wade. There's a couple more that can be sprinkled in. Lizzie and Aurora, Jen and Lizzie. I feel like there was another one I was going to say, but now it's gone. I didn't write it down. The best friendship for season 4 was a trio, and that was Rick, Landon, and Ted. Their friendship, being stuck together, fighting against the odds. Fucking wholesome. For favorite ship, actually, it was kind of loosey-goosey around a couple of the areas, but the nominees for it: Hope and Landon, MG and Lizzie, Jed and Ben, Joe and Finch, Caleb and Cleo. I don't know if there's any other ships out there. And this is relationships that was in there. I don't know of any other fan ships at the moment. I'm still upset that there was never a payoff to the childhood crush of Joe and Hope. Not saying that there needed to be, because not all the childhood stuff grows into fruition. You could be wholesome. Get across from me when we were kids. That's cute. It felt like for a while there was kind of leaning towards something that potentially could have blossomed, especially with Landon and Hope, and then Landon and Joe. It just left Joe and Hope to complete the triangle. But I think my favorite ship for season 4 was Caleb and Cleo. They went through it, not like butting heads, but they went through it a little bit, and it was beautiful. Most underrated character was tough to pick. It was initially going to be Vardamus. Vardamus was going to be the most underrated character because he provided a lot of intel and everything. But I think the most underrated, especially because of the self-sacrifice that was made, is Ethan. So I think Ethan deserves that award more than anybody else. Least favorite character is Ken, because he's fucking boring and he sucks. Favorite character nominees: Hope, Rick, Lizzie, Landon, Finch, Ethan, MG, Caleb, Ted / Necromancer, Jed, and Jen. Those were your nominees for favorite character. And my favorite character, yet again, for season 4, same as the last 2 seasons, is MG. MG proved time and time again to be the best character. There needs to be an honorable mention of my favorite character being Tribrid or Dark Hope, because what a savage. But overall, MG being the most level-headed is my favorite character for the season. For your season names, if you need recaps, your season 1 name was entitled Supernatural. Sam. All of the supernatural creatures attacking the school. Season 2 was Don't You Forget About Me. Why'd I say it like that? Don't you forget about me. Everyone trying to remember Hope. Season 3 was Circle Jerk. A lot of looping storylines, a lot of bullshit happening. In season 4, we entitled Gods and Tribrid. Gods and Tribrids, but there's one Tribrid, so God and Tribrid. And this is the vampire mode and fighting gods, etc., etc. Now, what's the order of my seasons? Well, you got to watch the series recap for that. In the series recap, we will rank our favorite seasons and our finales, and we'll go from there. So our finale names, season 1 was entitled No Way Home, Hope's Sacrifice. Season 2 was Sleeping Beauty, Hope and Landon still dead and asleep. Season 3 was just Disappointment. And then season 4, I entitled Always and Forever. So those are your season names and finale names. This next part is just for Patreon peeps. This is your dice roll if you give a shit about that. For season 4, episode 20, we rolled the numbers 5, 7, 8, and 20 to equal a grand total of 40. The most common rolled number was the number 7, rolled 5 times. That ties for the most in any show ever for a single number in a season. 20 episodes, you rolled 5 times? Are you kidding me? Number 7, also my favorite number, rolled 5 times. Highest number was 20, rolled once. Lowest was 1, rolled once. Single digits beat double digits, 13 to 10. Odds beat evens, 14 to 9. We had back-to-back rolls for the number 4 in episodes 14 and 15. The numbers matching the episode happened once. We rolled the number 7 on episode 7. Numbers not rolled for season 4 was 2, 4, 10, 16, and 17. Throughout the course of the show, we rolled every single number at least once. Numbers like rolled the least overall. The number 20 wasn't rolled until the very last episode, actually. It wasn't rolled until episode 20. So number 20 also matches. So, yeah. So episode 7 matched and episode 20 matched. Let me add that to the list as there for my archive. We didn't roll number 20 until the very last episode. So the entire time, that's how long it took. The number 10 was rolled once in season 3. 16 was rolled once in 3. The only number rolled in every single season was the number 12. So there's your D20 numbers. We can get ready to wrap this up with our in memoriam, in loving memory, rest in peace, rest in piss, however you want to say it, to the following people. All the kids Caleb killed when he turned for his backstory. Hope to activate the vampire. Landon Kirby, Malivore, Oscar, the Triad Werewolf, Alaric Saltzman, Agatha St. Clair, Greg, Vera Lillian, Elizabeth Saltzman, Asher, Valentina, the Carnival People, Magnus the Magnificent, the Proto-Clown, Jed's father, Ben, a bunch, Caleb, Jed, MG, all resurrected, Aurora de Martel, Ethan, and Ken, and then one last loop, Landon Kirby, Aurora de Martel, and Ethan. Rest in peace. Everybody else, rest in piss, rest in dirt, however you want to say it. Thank you for your time on the show. And that takes us to the wrap up, man. That was season 4 in a nutshell. You can also let me know your winners for each of the awards. You can make up your own awards. I always like reading those and going through. Some of you guys have interesting takes, which is fun because I never really hate or disagree with anything you all have to say. I'm just like, that's interesting. So a fun season, a great season. We have the trailers coming up. Now, previously I had done, we may have to merge the trailers again. So we may have a gap a couple days here without any episodes. We may work in like some Legacy tributes, maybe. I don't know. There's some Aurora tributes I think I took off my list to watch because I hadn't finished the show yet. So we'll see where that's at. And yeah, we got trailers coming up. We have bloopers. One blooper reaction, I think. Maybe we'll do a big spew of them. Character rankings. And then we have the series recap. And that's it. And then we go on to Buffy. So that's the plan coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really liked Legacies. I mean, it was way better than I gave it credit for. I don't know where it ranks. I don't know if it cracks the top 10 of shows we watched here on the channel. But it's definitely fucking enjoyable, right? I adore Hope. Like, I have a super big soft spot for Hope. and MG and Caleb just emerging as two of the best characters I've watched in a show. It's just really good. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for hanging out for 68 episodes. We'll see you over the course of the next one. I just want to send love from me to you, from Jerry to you, from Brothers Bond Bourbon to you. Thank you guys. And yeah, let me know your award winners. All 68 episodes, plus all the episodes from the previous shows, are on Patreon, or they're here on YouTube for free. Links and everything to all that jazz will be in the description box down below. Playlists will be up on screen. As always, stay cute, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you on the next one.